out of all the songs that I contributed towards our album Petrichor, Best Foot Forward is probably the most personal, and it's kind of the reason I've sort of left this one till last, really. It's kind of tied in with another song on the album, Old Man of the Sea, which is one that I wrote for my late stepdad. And that song was really helpful to me to be able to write it, because, you know, it helped me to deal with the grieving process in my own way, and allowed me to write something that was celebrating who he was, you know, and our memories of him. But this one is kind of written based on a conversation that I had with my mum not long after his passing. My mum lives right out in the sticks, in one of the hottest regions in Spain. You know, beautiful location, but really, really exposed to the elements. So as well as the blazing heat, which kind of takes its toll on the house, she's susceptible to floods. And there are times when the floods are really bad where she's just not able to leave the house because, you know, the routes are just impassable. You know, and these are the kind of things that she has to deal with on a pretty much daily basis. And now that Keith's gone, you know, she's got to deal with all that on her own. And, you know, I just remember having a conversation with her. And I just said, Mum, I don't know how you do it. On top of all the grieving, it's like life is hammering you, you know. I don't know how you do it. And she just said, well, what choice have I got? You know, I can just curl up in a ball on the floor and just give up, or just keep putting my best foot forward. You know, and that actually inspired me on a personal level, because you know, anyone that knows me knows that, you know, I struggle with mental health on a fairly regular basis, and hearing my mum say that, with all the, you know, with everything that she was going through, hearing my mum say that just kind of just awoke something in me, you know. And so I wrote this song for my mum, but also partly to me, because I needed it. And there's a reason I left this video till last. I'm really, really proud of the song. I'm really, really so happy with the way it turned out. And I knew straight away that, you know, I wanted it to be a Lost Trade song. The song itself came quite easily, if I remember correctly. It was a little while ago that I wrote it now. But I seem to remember it came fairly quickly. It's not one that I had to really sort of bite off in chunks, you know. It was fairly organic. I wrote it in dadgad tuning, having not that long ago written Old Man of the Sea in dadgad. So the guitar was kind of knocking around the house in that tuning. And I began messing around with it again and came up with something that was quite nice, a little bit more bouncy. I know that lyrically, it's not the prettiest of songs that I've written. And in fact, quite a lot of my songs are pretty straightforward, you know, and this one is pretty straightforward. It doesn't really use a lot of like twinkly stuff, you know, twinkly lyrics, you know. It says what it's meant to say, and I'm always proud of a song that does that. I seem to remember it all came together quite quickly. I played it through on the guitar a few times with the guys, and we always work on harmonies first anyway, because that's when we know if it's going to be, you know, if it's going to work as a band song. And the harmonies, I think, seem to come pretty quickly, if I remember correctly. I went in, I put down my guitar parts at the studio, and my vocals. Phil sort of put the percussion on, I think, and the bass, and obviously the guys put the harmonies on. When I heard the version with the bass on it, I just fell in love with it, you know. I don't know if it was a conscious thing or not, but, you know, I was already really conscious of this kind of Dan Dimitri vibe with it. And the way Phil plays the bass on that song very much leans into that vibe, you know, and I love it even more because of that, you know. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I love it. Although I did feel that it kind of needed something else. Originally, Tammy was just going to play the stomp block and the shaker, I think. But I kind of felt it needed something else to sort of break it up and make it a bit more interesting. And I remember when I first started messing around with the riff on the guitar, you know, I remember thinking it could be easily be played on a banjo. It's kind of got this sort of offbeaty, jaunty kind of thing going on, you know. That kind of thing, you know. And I thought it'd be nice to, because I start off picking like that, but then it goes into a strum. And I thought it'd be quite nice to have Tammy playing the uke, but picking when I'm strumming, and then going on to like strums when I go back to picking. You know, just kind of playing opposites. Just felt it would give it more of a dynamic, and I'm really chuffed with how that turned out. I'm not sure Phil was convinced when I mentioned it, but as soon as I sort of played it through the first time, it kind of went, no, actually, yeah, that does sound good. So, vindication. Yeah, but you know, out of all of the songs, it's not often that I can listen to a recording with me on it and not cringe about something. You know, I don't really listen to my own stuff. I hardly listen to our music. As much as I'm proud of it, you know, I don't listen to it because, you know, I play it, you know, but there's always something that kind of think, oh, I wish I'd done that better. But with this song, I think if I was to die now, knowing that that song is out in the world, then I know I can die happy. Put your best foot forward, put on your winning smile, before you turn the corner. So many miles to go. So if you've not heard it, then it's up there on all the internet stuff, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all that malarkey. And if you would rather download it and keep it for yourself or buy a physical CD, then either buy it from Bandcamp or come to one of our gigs. That'd be even better. Right, see you around like a donut.